Good afternoon and welcome to the 2012 Student Research and Creativity Expo. I'm your host, Mark Pierce. We're live inside the Convocation Center, home of the Ohio Bobcats. But today, it's home to more than 500 student projects and original creations. We're going to be showing you plenty of demonstrations, talking with judges, the Vice President of Research, as well as the Assistant Dean of the Libraries here at Ohio University. The expo began just over an hour ago and will run until 2:30 this afternoon, but the participants have been setting up their projects since 8:30 this morning. Students can choose to have their original work evaluated by a panel of judges. The judges will then award $200 prizes to the top projects in various categories. Students don't have to be judged, however. They can just present their work for the public. Presentations throughout the afternoon include live performances of the projects and interactive demonstrations and exhibits. And showing you full coverage of those projects this afternoon is Katie Daup and Kelsey Borza. Ladies, what can we expect this afternoon?
Well, Mark, we have a pretty interesting lineup today. Projects varying from anything from a robotic bobcat to a project looking at brain activity after concussion.
We're also going to dig deeper into an action arcade video game, so lots to look forward to from us, Mark.
Thank you, ladies. No doubt about that. It's going to be an action-packed afternoon. And now we're joined by Tanner Smith, who's roaming the convocation floor all afternoon for us. He's live now. Tanner, what do you got for us, man?
Well, thanks, Mark. I'm here live on the Convocation Center floor, and I'll be talking with various groups about their projects. But for now, what is it that the Friends theme song always used to say? When it hasn't been your day, your month, your week, or even your year, I'll be there for you. Well, how about being there for 11 years? That's what one professor here at Ohio University has done. His name is Dr. Zhu, and he's overseen a single engineering project for over a decade now.
What lies beyond the reaches of technology? An infinite nothingness that is difficult for even the most brilliant minds to comprehend. And the lingering question still remains, are we alone? Alone.
So Area 51, little green aliens, do they really all exist? We may never know, but what we do know is that there are some students here at Ohio University who might be trying to examine the final frontier, space as we know it. They're building a UFO, and while it might not be a full-size UFO, it's still some great experience, and it's going on right through these doors here in Stocker. Let's take a look. So we're here with one part of the undergraduate team, Bob Mash. And Bob, I guess the big burning question is, it's a UFO. How long until it's going into space?
We expect next May.
Next May?
No, I'm kidding.
No, okay, so all joking aside, it's not an actual UFO. It's more of a hovercraft from what you've explained to me off camera. Just kind of explain what exactly it is that you guys are designing.
It's a 3-main rotor hovercraft. Most hovercrafts are 4-rotor. They're called quadcopters, but we have a 3-rotor configuration for uniqueness. And we've been improving a lot of the ground support hardware, which is required for the overall system development.
The device that it's resting on, that looks like it's powered by some type of machine. So what exactly is this whole device and what does it do for the actual UFO?
This is a retractable ground pad, and of course it supports the vehicle's weight on the landing gear. I should say part of the HIL, or hardware in the loop stand, is used to measure forces that the vehicle puts on the test stand, and we will use that information to simulate the flight that would be happening if it wasn't tied down.
Once it gets going, what exactly is powering these rotors? I mean, is it something you can find just anywhere? I mean, it seems pretty high-tech.
A lot of the components, the power systems, the batteries, and the actuators, in every case, they're on the hobbyist RC flight market.
So what have we learned? This is the culmination of 11 years of work by both graduate and undergraduate students. And while it might not be a real UFO and actually be going into space, it's a very intricate design and a really, really cool project.
Now, I wasn't actually able to see the hovercraft hover, but when I was with the group, they told me they'd have to get pretty lucky in order for it to do what it's supposed to here at the Expo today. Now, we met Bob Mash in the video, but here's the second part of the undergraduate team, and that is Kong. Now, Kong, Did you guys get lucky? Are we going to see this thing fly?
I don't think so. I don't think today it's okay to run it because one of our controllers got a little problem and no, sorry.
Hey, it's okay, we understand. I mean, it's been a project that's been over a decade in the works. So what, do you guys need to change in order for it to actually lift off?
Our PhD student and build up a program so that it can lift off and can run 3 motors. And right now, we are very close to stabilize that, and it's very close, and we are about getting there. And the problem is just the controller is not working right now, so we cannot continue today. But we may finish this very soon. I think within a week or 2. I think. So.
All right. So any expected date for liftoff within 5 months?
Yeah, I think so. I think 5 months will be pretty much enough for that.
All right. Thank you very much, Kong. Well, the UFO not lifting off today, but hopefully in the near future. Mark, keep it going.
All right, thanks, Tanner. Try not to have too much fun out there. We'll catch up with you in just a little bit. Every year, students put their best foot forward and bring their projects to the Convocation Center. They put countless hours into these projects trying to impress the judges. And now we have one of those judges with us here. Judge Jeff Rack joins us on the set. Thanks a lot for being here today.
You're quite welcome.
Well, there's a lot of categories in different fields that the students can win the $200 prize in. What are some of those fields?
So collectively, the judges give prizes in all areas of scholarly work across the campus. So natural sciences, engineering, fine arts, communications, journalism. Some of the specific categories that I've judged today are biomedical sciences, biological sciences, chemistry and biochemistry, and electrical engineering. A few prizes.
There's so many different types of projects and different themes and categories. How do you judge each project individually, keeping in mind that you have to compare them against other projects?
Right, so we try not to actually judge the sort of research results or the intellectual merit of all of the projects to avoid this problem. So we try to judge is just on the presentation. So for sciences, for example, does the student present clearly a hypothesis, and do the results follow that hypothesis?
How long have you been a judge?
So about 7 or 8 years. I stopped for a couple years in the middle, but for about 7 or 8 years, which is about as long as the Expo has been going on.
And why did you want to get involved with this? Why did you want to be a judge?
Well, it's just fun to interact with students in a different venue. I usually see them in class, but it's good to see them, working on a project that they probably like more than taking my chemistry classes.
Well, I can't argue there, but I'm not a chemistry guy. Of course, I got to ask, a lot of people want to know, what's the best perk about being a judge?
Well, they do give us free pizza, but as you know, you get lots of free pizza for lots of things. So it's perhaps not such a great perk, but it really is getting to interact with the students and their projects and the things that they're trying to the projects and the problems that they're trying to solve. So.
Well, we know you're a busy guy, so thanks a lot for being here and taking some time out to talk with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're going to move right along here. We're having a lot of fun. Katie Doubt now joins us because she's got the inside look on what it takes to make a video game.
That's right, Mark. About 30 years ago, it was pretty rare to find a gamer, but now practically everyone has either played or plays a video game. But what most people don't realize is all the hard work that goes into making these games. Earlier this week, I got a chance to meet with the creators of Monster Smash, a video game being developed right here at Ohio University. Video games have come a long way since the days of Super Mario Brothers.
I remember back when I was younger and me and my friends would go over to someone's house and we'd play and just sit on the couch and play for hours. And then I thought about how games are nowadays, all the Call of Duty and all the seriousness and young kids playing mature rated games online and everything. Yeah. And I kind of wanted to bring it back to its roots and have fun again.
The story of Monster Smash takes us back to our childhood fears.
There's a little kid named Timmy, and he wants to prove his bravery to his older brother Mike. So Mike Triple Dog dares him to go into this haunted mansion, this classic haunted mansion up on the hill. And so he does it. Timmy goes in there, but he doesn't really come out for a while, so they're starting to get worried. So Mike gathers up a couple of his friends. It's Mike, Sam, Samantha, Aaron, and Hamilton, who his nickname is Ham. He rounds up his 4 friends, and they have to go in there and save him.
These ghosts, zombies, and the mansion itself are actually intricate works of art.
I started with a square, and then I built each of the legs for it, and then made another square, made the cushion out of it, connected those together, and then went through. And then after you do that, in order to texture it, you have to go through and like lay out the UVs, lay all the triangles that he showed. So when you texture it, like it looks like this.
The monsters aren't going to be the typical scary monsters from our nightmares, though.
A fine line between something being scary and something being goofy.
Yes.
I think we took inspiration from like Scooby-Doo in order to find like the right amount. So the zombies, they might look a bit intimidating still because one of our design choices was making all the enemies have lifeless eyes.
Yeah.
So they're not really like. That's kind of just a paradigm in monster making. But then his goofiness is kind of displayed through his motion.
The team plans on having 1 level of Monster Smash finished by the end of the summer and eventually 6 levels in the finished product. I'm now joined by the producer of Monster Smash, Nathan Yellen. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Now, this project began in class, correct?
Yep.
So why did you have to do it for class? What was the reason?
Well, the whole point of the class is to learn how to develop a video game and learn the development process. So it started out as just an idea, and we developed it through fall quarter, and then actually since winter quarter up until now, we've been actually in production of the game.
Okay, and what has been the most challenging part of developing the game?
The most challenging part probably has been getting everybody on the same page. Basically, whenever you come up with a game, it's a very creative process, and so everybody has to be on the same page and develop it together, get up to the same production schedule, the same speed, and get everybody's skills honed enough so that you can actually produce a good game.
Now, you've only have 1 level so far. Can you talk about how far you're going to go with the game a little bit more?
Well, actually this summer we plan on finishing the entire game. Right now we have a almost finished level, and we plan on having a total of 4 levels of the entire mansion. So hopefully by the end of the summer we'll be able to have a full game.
And does your team see themselves producing more games in the future?
Definitely. It's definitely a passion of mine. I know it's a passion of my team's, and so we definitely want this to be our career and want to continue producing games for the rest of our lives.
All right, well, thanks for being here with us, Nathan. Great work.
Thanks.
And I hear Tanner Smith has found something interesting on the floor. Tanner, what did you find?
Well, Katie, I have found something pretty interesting down here. I'm here with Scott Vargas, a junior neuroscience major, and all of us normal people, neuroscience obviously means that you're a pretty smart guy. So, Scott, what are you working on exactly?
My project is studying learning and memory and the underlying circuits involved in Drosophila larvae. So
you're working with maggots, I guess, is what that? Okay.
Just regular maggots.
Okay, so I guess what are you trying to find within your project within the learning and memory realm?
We're trying to find out exactly which neurons are activated in learning and memory and when they're exposed to different conditions.
Okay, so could you give us a little bit of an example of what you're working with? I see we have a little bit of a demonstration. I don't know if it's a demonstration or just the maggots you've been working with. What exactly do you do with them?
So in these ones, we've inserted genetically inserted a light-sensitive channel protein into neurons, and these are motor neurons. So when I turn this blue light on, you can see that they'll have seizures because we can activate the motor neurons specifically with blue light. And so in my flies, we've been activating different neurons to find out which ones are involved in learning.
So how does that apply in the real world and not just to maggots?
In the future, we're hoping to study the effects of deep brain stimulation, which is a possible treatment for Parkinson's disease. And it's an effective treatment, but we don't know how exactly it works. So we're going to try to find out which circuits are involved and figure out how to make more effective treatments.
Okay, so I mean, I guess can you give, is there any timetable as to when this might actually be able to go into actual practice with, people or, animals or whatever it may be?
Well, since deep brain stimulation is a current treatment, right now, if we find a more effective way of doing it, we could apply it almost immediately in a clinical situation.
Wow.
So,
well, finding out, things from maggots, very exciting.
Thank you.
All right, I appreciate it, Scott. Mark, we're going to send it right on back to you.
All right, thanks, Tanner. There's dozens of projects that we've seen, and there's hundreds more where that came from demonstrated on the floor today. But there's one project you won't see demonstrated. It's the logo for the 2012 Expo. The logo designer is responsible for getting the logo done by mid-January every year, and this year senior Brittany Thomas was given the honors of demonstrating her graphic design skills. Taylor Poole sat down with Thomas to find out where the inspiration for this year's logo came from.
Is it tougher to create on a deadline?
Absolutely. Working on a deadline is really, really rough. So I had a few months, but there was a lot of relaying back and forth between me and the library and printing and just a bunch of different people. But when it was all said and done, it probably took just a few months, so it wasn't too bad.
Tell me about the different words that are in the design and the different parts of the design, the different images that are in the tree.
The different words are pretty much just inspirational words that people may think of while they're, you know, doing their certain whatever they're expoing, I guess. But I decided to just go with a bunch of different like vector objects that you might see, like art, music, science, just a little bit of everything, because I know everybody there is just like a broad range of talents and different things like that. So I went with different vectors that displayed that, and then words that kind of like tied in with them. And then in order to tie it into Athens, I kind of used the ginkgo tree leaf. I don't know if you noticed or not, it kind of looks like a normal tree, but they're very highly populated on Athens campus.
Now I have to ask, tell me about the man sitting under the tree.
The man under the tree is actually supposed to be like a Newton-esque kind of man, just because like the apple falling off the tree of knowledge onto Newton's head, and, you know, the walls, whatever. But so I don't know, I just had fun with that. That was actually at the very end. I kind of just like added him just as a little, just so you kind of know it's a tree of knowledge.
Thomas was chosen to design the logo by the head of the science department as well as the coordinator for the Expo. Thomas has also done work with Ohio University's dining halls and done some graphic designing for Baker Student Center. Let's keep the projects rolling here, and Kelsey Borza is once again on the broadcast as she got an inside scoop on a very special kind of bobcat.
That's right, Mark. Rufus might just have some competition this year. Students in the College of Engineering spent their senior year designing a robot that moves like a cat. Graylin Roos takes us behind the scenes of the creation of the robotic bobcat.
It moves, it walks, and it can even sense an object in its path. The robotic bobcat was designed by seniors in the electrical engineering program, and they've been working on the mechanical mascot for nearly a year.
Our goal is to make a robot that can walk, turn left, turn right, collapse to a certain size to fit in a carrying case.
The cat is the third version of its kind. The engineering students have tried to improve the robot's abilities each year, and this time they say it's the most sophisticated it's ever been. Made out of steel, wood, aluminum, and plastic, the cat can bend its legs and even turn its head. But the engineers say the hardest part is making it truly lifelike.
The main challenge is translating the power up here into power down here, because real animals have, like, the muscles are all through here and our muscles just up there. So we have to translate the power from the motor to the leg. It's the hardest job.
Between using women's hair ties and piano hinges, the team had to get creative. But they also created a software aspect to the robotic bobcat. A microcomputer in the center of the spine and digital cameras in the eyes allow the cat to target an item, track it, and walk towards it. The cat can connect to a computer with a cord, but also has the capability to be powered by batteries. Team members say they enjoy the technical process, but know that the education goes even further.
We're making a robotic bobcat, that's great, but behind the scenes, we're actually learning the engineering process.
It's very helpful. I think like you work with the professor and then you have the teammates. I think not only you learn something technical part from the engineering, I think you also learn the teamwork.
The team says the cat has come a long way, but they hope that next year's seniors can improve the concept even more. Reporting for WOUB News, I'm Graylin Roos.
I'm joined now by Mac Segro, one of the engineers behind the robotic bobcat. So Mac, tell me, what was the most difficult part of the process in building this bobcat?
Oh, the most difficult part of the process would probably be nailing down the kinematics of the stride sequences and constructing the legs.
And what part did you start constructing?
We began with the legs, then we moved on to make a new spine. Then actually we integrated the PC-104 recently, and we're going through the troubleshooting process of integrating everything together.
So I really want to know what the coolest part of the robot is, and maybe we can even take a look at it.
Okay, we recently added a touchscreen to do controls, and the PC-104 to pull everything together. That would probably be what I would call the coolest part at this moment.
So before we take a look at it and get a little bit of a demonstration, what do you plan to have future robotic bobcats do?
Future teams most likely will have, well, they'll be able to walk freeform without supports, obviously, to recognize a target by color or shape, track the target, and go to it.
All right, well, can we get a quick look at it before we have to step away?
Excuse us.
Thanks. Go back and see it once we're done, okay?
All right, well, thanks, Mac, again for the interview. It was great to have you. We'll go back to Mark now at the desk with moving on with the show. Mark?
All right, thank you, Kelsey. Rufus definitely has some competition. Now we're going to keep it going. Tanner Smith is going to join us once again. We're not done with him yet. He's got some more information for us. What have you found out, Tanner?
Well, we're right back on the floor, and after Kelsey's project with the mechanical bobcat, why not do a little bit more of engineering? I guess this is an electrical engineer, Alex Grammer. And Alex, what exactly do we have here? It looks like we have a robot friend.
This is the Darwin OP. It's a dynamically anthropomorphic robot with intelligence and open source. He's our brand new robot that the college has been lucky enough to receive in a pilot program with Virginia Tech and the company Robotis. And as you can see, he's a small but fully functional humanoid robot.
So what exactly have you done? It looks like you have something that is mimicking an arm.
My work is involved with creating a control system so that the robot mimics the actions of the user. And so what I've worked here is just a very simple single degree of freedom, one joint motion. So this brace is worn by the user, and as he flexes his arm, the robot matches his movement.
Wow. Okay, so now how long has this taken you to work on it? Is it just like a, hey, let's do it for the week, or how long has this taken?
It started out as a, hey, this is an interesting idea, let's do it, and it's slowly grown into my culmination of 2 years of my thesis research.
Wow, okay, so I guess the burning question I have, which is kind of a farce and a fantasy, but the movie Real Steel, does this, have any implication in it? Is this going to be coming soon? No, not to a theater near you, but to real life near you?
We're getting there. The technology is slowly building up and the research is being done. I mean, I hate to be one of those people who say, oh, I'll never do it, or in 10 years we'll be having flying cars, but I mean, it's in the direction that contemporary research is heading. I mean, this is the basic stuff that'll make Real Steel happen.
So you've been working on this for 2 years, and you had another demonstration bot, but it's been tired out today. What else have you made these robots be able to do?
Well, the robots were originally built to be soccer-playing robots. They compete in they're called Robo Cup. It recently just won the first place in the small humanoid division. So since it's a relatively new robot, we've been working with learning how to program it, how does it move, how do we control it. So a lot of our research has been going into just the basics, like how do we get this thing to move the way we want.
All right, well, Alex, thank you very much. And Mark, for one more time, back to you.
All right, thank you, Tanner. For those of you who don't know, Tanner Smith just received the Top Broadcast Journalism Student Award from the E.W. Scripps School of Journalism. It's well-deserved. Congratulations, my friend. The Vice President of Research at Ohio University is in charge of promoting the advancement of learning, knowledge, creativity, and a lot of other things. It's a very important position, so that's why we welcome Dr. Joseph Shields on our desk. And in front of me is Kelly Broughton, who is the Assistant Dean of the libraries here. Two very important positions. Thank you both for spending some time with us today.
Thanks, it's our pleasure.
How does the Expo, and either one of you can answer this, how does the Expo advance scientific and creative learning?
I guess the critical part is it shows that knowledge is not static. Knowledge and culture are not static, and you can make a contribution to it. It's more than just what you take away from sitting in the classroom. It's participatory, and you can advance the frontiers of knowledge.
And Kelly, do you ever get surprised by some of the stuff you see out here? These projects are pretty impressive.
I think all of these projects are extremely impressive. And for us in the libraries, it's just wonderful to be able to walk around and see such a huge variety. The end product, we often see a lot of these students in the libraries at all hours of the day and night doing all sorts of things, but to be able to actually see the end product is a wonderful experience.
And the Expo's been going on for quite a few years now, and from my perspective, it just seems to get better and better.
It does. I think word has gotten around amongst our students. It's now well established as a tradition, and people start planning for it months in advance.
And Kelly, you help allocate the funds from the libraries. What kind of funds do you guys distribute here for the Expo?
This year's funding from the libraries came from the Vernon and Marion Alden Library Endowment, and we funded the t-shirts for the judges and the student participants.
That might be one of everyone's favorite parts of this, is getting the free t-shirt. But thank you both for being here and spending some time with us. I know you're very busy, so enjoy the rest of the Expo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We got one more project for you today, and it's a pretty serious one. Concussions are a part of any athlete's program, and Alex Steck sat down to dig a little bit deeper and find some new research methods for understanding concussions.
Shannon Nichols is not only a graduate student at Ohio University, but she is also an athletic trainer for Marietta College. Her advisor, Dr. Brian Reagan, has done previous concussion studies with other patient populations and wanted to see how it would work specifically with athletes. Shannon's project entails measuring activity after a concussion is sustained and looking at how physical activity levels change throughout recovery.
Once a concussion is sustained, we're giving them an accelerometer, and they attach it on their hip and they wear it for 7 to 10 days. And we're going to find, hopefully, a recovery curve. Most concussions are only evaluated using diagnosis tools, so symptoms or loss of balance or cognitive impairment, and this looks at a more functional approach at seeing how activity itself changes.
The accelerometer is capable of measuring multiple variables, but they are looking specifically at the intensity of each step and the number of steps taken throughout each day.
What we're hoping is that with having an objective measurement tool, that we could allow for safer return to play decisions.
Most of the subjects have been from hockey, rugby, soccer, and football at OU and Marietta, but Shannon hopes to get further participation with other schools in the next couple years.
Hasn't been big news yet until next football season when somebody dies from second impact syndrome because they haven't returned to play properly.
Getting compliance from college athletes is not always an easy task, though.
You give it to them, and then 3 days later they're done wearing it, and their data is just completely absent.
However, the athletes that have participated properly prove the accelerometer to be effective.
We basically measure the activity counts and then step counts, and then this is a completed person, and you see how this is the blue line is symptomatic, and then red line, they're automatically, their first day is higher than anything, it's symptomatic, and then they return, and this is right before they return to competition.
Shannon will also present her project at the National Athletic Conference in June in St. Louis.
Certainly a very important topic to research. You can never be too cautious when dealing with an athlete's health. And that's going to do it for us, but that doesn't mean the Expo is over. The Convocation Center is open until 2:30 this afternoon, so if you got some time, come out and check out all these awesome projects. We showed you quite a few, but that doesn't mean that's all of them. There's plenty more where that came from. For Katie Doubt, Kelsey Borza, and of course Tanner Smith, I'm Mark Pierce. Thanks for joining us, and have a great afternoon.